Hey guys, it's Phoenix and welcome back. It's been a long time since I uploaded my last vid, and you know what? Looks like I did not explain myself. We have been totally changed. The distress has gone. We have reborn. It is Phoenix, and this also marks the revamp of our channel totally. We will now more focus towards the command block. Yes, it's coming back, and the redstone stuff, as you can see behind me. Actually, this is my redstone testing world. I just started messing with this stuff since a month or two, I believe, and I'm coming up with some good things. You might expect some really big stuff like this one, which we are going to be focusing on today. So as you can see from the title of the video, this is a 3x3 piston door. We press this button, it all opens up just like that. It's a bit slow, but this is my first one, please. And if you press this button, this is a bit fast process, a bit faster minded, and this takes all these circuits. I know there are many of those masters out there who can do this in like a circuit or two, or maybe a 1 by 1 layer. I've seen those ones, observers. Oh my god, those are great. And please disregard the gray one, that's useless. I tried doing something and that did not work. Anyway, let's proceed. First off, this is our input. Disregard this. We take an output, basic output from there, which travels along here to our main input, which is this. This is the redstone, which controls all of this. So first what happens is an output goes from here to here. A repeater takes that output, and as you can see here, this is a monostable circuit. Yes, it's a monostable circuit. It it gives an output here, and you know what, I'll explain step by step. This is still a bit fast, so bear with me. All these blocks I can show you are retract, retract, retract. These are just inversely powered pistons. We just unpower them, that's all. There's nothing much to it. But the major thing is these two blocks. These two blocks, that took all of that, just those two blocks. Let's start. First off, the block is extracted, it's swapped, and then double piston retraction. If you could see there, double piston extension, block is swapped, pushed, and back. Now let me show you. First off, a single block retraction takes place and it pulls it back, right? That's not difficult. Our output starts from here. This is another one, and I even challenged myself to do that with a button. Anyway, it starts from here, monostable circuit, an input, the quartz you have to focus on, and the purple wool. An input goes from here to this observer. This observer gives a 1 tick output. As soon as it gets the output, it retracts the block, and another output goes. This other output is just repeater in this observer, which powers the piston below to, you know what, just a minute, better I guess. Moving on, it retracts the block, the piston, and then the block swapper takes place. The block swapper in the contraption right there is actually fitted underground. Oh, I'm really sorry for the lag. Actually, I had to move some of the videos because of the space. Anyway, let's proceed. So how the block swapper works is, now a bit compact. So It functions with the button first of all, which is perfect for us, and it switches the blocks, as you can see. Wool to iron, iron to wool. So first off, what we do is we take an inverter redstone output from here, which powers these repeaters, which inverts the redstone output again, which further inverts the redstone output. Now this redstone output, when inverted, does not give a signal to here because repeaters do not take signal. But when we flick this button and these torches turn on, the repeaters take a signal which unpower these torches, which cause this to unpower and these both to power. Since this is already extended and retracts for -second, and this extends, the blocks invert themselves, causing the block swap. There we go. And because we used a falling edge unstable circuit there, rising we had to convert the signal to a button output, because this functions almost as a lever output, which I'll show you right now. Maybe you'll see that signal afterwards, but this I've used so many repeaters, which I believe the RAM is not doing anything with. Yeah, and the lime signal carries downwards, which I'll show you right there, and this is the exact same thing as you saw. Let's continue further on. As we saw in the door right there, next what happens is the double piston extension and the traction, which I believe is fairly easy. What happens there is, after one tick of delay, no, wait, this is a special. First, I had to do this because we had to sync it with the closing also. So one happens when we do the opening and the other one happens when we do the closing. Because of how the monostable circuits work on button outputs, this will give an output on the first but not the second, on the third but not the fourth. And I've inverted the signal with the use of cauldrons, the comparators and the repeaters here with the use of a piston feed tape. And these piston feed tapes are powered by these repeaters for the timing and non-interlocking. And this works perfectly. Let me show you. Piston feed tapes are as easy as they look. We just have to pull this block, push this block, and pull this block, push this block. But the pulling has to happen at the same time and the pushing, or it will cause a mess. As you can see right here, this circuit, as you can see, is a double pulse. So instead, if we remove this repeater and put a redstone torch here, redstone dust here, that would cause it to be a pulse extender. But I changed it to become a repeater with 3 ticks so that it gives a second pulse. As you can see here, the piston feed tape cycles twice because of the second pulse. Let's move on. As we can see in this circuit, the piston feed tape cycles once in this one, causing the cauldron to go in place of the glass. The glass, being a transparent block, does not give any output. In fact, any block does not give any output in disregarding cauldrons, chests, and any other blocks which can have NBT values, I believe, with exceptions always. So the cycles making the cauldron go here, giving an output which is carried by the repeater, and this is what we use to convert a lever output to a button output. This essentially what it does is takes the lever output, first unpower this torch, powering this torch, making an output. Done. Then a delayed redstone output is carried through here, which powers this torch, causing it to unpower. If 2 unpowered torches are kept in this manner, they will unpower. They will in fact be unpowered. So this causes the signal to end, even if it is a lever output. This then is a whole lot of delay. These are all 1 tick, by the way. and then a combined. And this is a double piston extender and retractor. What essentially happens here is the bottom piston is powered first, and then after a tick, 2 ticks, sorry, because the observer takes 1 tick to carry on its output. After 2 ticks, an output is given through this block to this. As this is powered, this piston will be powered, and when this piston is powered, it will push the block upwards. And since the observer gives a 1 tick output, the piston spits its blocks out, which causes, observe the middle block, only the middle block, okay? The piston spits its blocks, okay? That happens because there's an observer, and when a piston receives a 1 tick input, it retracts the block if it's already there, or splits the block if it's on the face, which is very useful for us. And then we move on to here. The retraction process. This is going to be hard. First of all, closing, not the retraction. Then, essentially what happens first in the retraction process is the double piston extender. This time, instead of going in the last because of all these repeaters, it goes first. And to make it go first, we have done this. Monstable circuits fires at the same time, and this is a lever to button output converter, as we saw in the opening. So this is with the 1 tick, being this with a, if I believe correctly, 16 ticks, which causes this to go first, and then block switch and close. The closing of all these blocks, again, I'm telling you, it does not get easier. This redstone torch, we just invert it, that's all. And by the way, yes, this one torch powers these both. Anyway, let's proceed. Closely watch the closing this time, okay? Oh well, because you have to refer it again and again to know what's happening, because it will be very boring if I open and close the door. So that and it closed. Okay, let's see. The second thing after the double piston extension is, you guessed it, the block swap. The blocks are swapped and causing the piston to go in place of the already present quartz. Look, the quartz is present here. I push this button and the piston comes in place of the quartz with the iron block. Now what happens here is the iron block is pushed with an observer. This observer gives an output because of this. I told you this was a button converter. Again, lever to button, button to lever to button. Good. Anyway, this gives an output here, causing this observer to push the block outwards, making this to go upwards, and that is all controlled by this little thing. This is again the same. I'm not going to explain that again and again. After some delay, it goes here, gives another output through this observer, this tiny little thing again, which causes splitted blocks out, and then the closing of all of these. That just happens with the straight redstone output here, the black lines, and the black lines here, the black lines here. These are all the outside borders. This was crazy. You can even imagine how much work has been gone into making this thing. This was my first 3x3 piston door, and a lot of research went into this. By the way, even if the circuit is not a part of the build, I want to tell you something about the circuit. Yeah, so an output goes through here. As you saw, the observer was right there, which causes a single output first through here, then through there, and this output makes the monostable circuit, which gives a one tick output. Piston feed tape makes an output through here, through the repeaters, and which causes the redstone signal to invert. and the redstone signal is shown twice, making this the level 2 button converter. And the second output, when this happens inversely, is through here. The comparator takes the output through here, gives the repeater, which causes again a level 2 button converter, which I was thinking to use in the circuit, so that for things which I'll tell you in the last, but then it did not work out, I'll just say. Anyway, I'll say that wraps up the round. That is the 3x3 piston door. When you press this button, you can see all of this working in its all glory, and when you press this button again, all the signal turns off, and as just so. Even after all these circuits, there's still one slight problem with my design. That is, first off, it's really slow. I don't actually care about that, but I did a lot of work to make it flush, at least when it's open, and this one observer is really messing with me. Anyway, this is not actually the major problem. All of this is not actually the major problem. The major problem is all of this is again flush with everything. The closing is usually always flush, but these 4 redstone, 3 sticky pistons and 1 observer, I can see there, which really irritates me. Otherwise, there's not much of a major problem. But guys, please, if you have any suggestions what I can do with this sticky piston, just this. I cannot flip this with my block swap, that just makes it go crazy. I'll manage with the observer right there. And by the way, there's an output here which directly powers the this white repeater at the start instead of going through a long line. Anyway, this, I'm really stressed out, guys. There are many of those redstone geniuses there which can help me, but my god, this has been a big project. I've been working on it for days, months, and this was my main objective since I started my work on redstone. A 3x3 piston door. I knew the 2x2 ones, they were very simple, very easy to make, but these 3x3 ones, they just stress me out. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I hope you liked the new revamp of the channel. If you did, please be sure to push that like button, because it really means a lot and lets me know that you love the content on the channel. And any suggestions that you have for future content, future instructions, commands, please comment it down below. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. And by the way, please suggest any video editing softwares too. I do really need them.